Hey guys, I am Kanika Arora joining in from shiksha.com. I'll be the moderator of the session today. We are very excited to have you here and help you guys figure out your B school journey. So it is especially important and interesting for MBA stakeholders, whether they are MBA aspirants or students, to find out which B school is best for them, right? And what specialization they should offer. So potential MBA candidates are drawn to their institution by their stellar reputations. And if you are confused what to choose between IIM and FMS, well, let us end your confusion over here. Both IIM and FMS have their own brand value, as you know, which they have built over the years. However, IIMs have an upper hand. But today we'll be discussing some things that makes FMS better as well. To clear up your confusion, we welcome Mr. Arithro Das Gupta. Hi, sir.
Hi, thank you. Good to meet you again, Kanika.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming over again. I just wanted to share something about Arithro Das Gupta. He is a distinguished trainer and a writer. He has also trained students both online and offline in India and abroad as well. He has coached students to ace some of the toughest examinations in the country, such as CAT, CLAT, CUET, and IPMAT. So, welcome to the session, sir. And I would like you to share something about yourself and take over this session.
Thank you for the introduction, and I feel privileged to be part of this thing. And this is a very interesting topic you have thought of. IIMs versus FMS. So lots of students. This is the season when people have to decide. I would say we are probably 2 months before final deciding because in January the results will be out. So the final selection will be end of Feb, early March. But it's good to have a head start to start plan so that they can start planning from now itself.
Exactly, whatever you said is perfectly correct because this topic has been in more demand, like which college to refer to, because both of them are equally at a good pace, at a good level. So let's just start by taking up the queries. And guys, I would request you all to please post your queries under Q&A tab and just make the most out of it. We are waiting for whatever doubts you have, whatever questions you have, we are waiting for them, and sir will handle them.
Right.
And
One
we'll
thing I would like to add before you are sending in the queries, I think this is a very good problem to have. If there's any student who's fixed between IIMs versus FMS, it is a good problem to have, right? I would rather have students who have this kind of a problem because both are absolutely elite.
Exactly, because there is a confusion in the mind of the MBA aspirant, like which college they should select for if they have many options in their hand. So here you are, and we have got one more question from Deveshwar Mehra. So we'll just start with this question itself. Why FMS over IIMs?
So Deveshwar, first of all, we are not suggesting that you should take FMS over IIMs. That's a completely separate topic. It depends on several aspects like your score, which IIM you're getting. Remember, there's a big difference between IIM Ahmedabad and Bengaluru and Kolkata versus some of the newer IIMs or baby IIMs. So there is a big difference. We are not suggesting, we are just taking differences between them and where one of them could have an advantage over the other. So I'll just take questions on those. And I think the next question is executive program or evening program. This is a very good question. I really like this kind of a question. Adhyayan has picked up a very specific doubt. I am Lucknow executive or FMS evening. I would say FMS evening can be better because Adhyayan, do you stay in Delhi by any chance? Do you stay in Delhi NCR? If you can answer that question. In case you're staying in Delhi NCR, the advantage of being in Delhi and doing the FMS course is that you can remain here. You do not need to leave your job and continue with your program. With the executive program, you'll have to probably drop an entire year. So that is a bit of a risk. Whereas with FMS, you can actually do it. Yeah, okay, you're in Noida, so I think it works pretty well. You can handle this.
Okay, great to answer that question. I think Adyan, you got your answer. And we have another question by Sudhanshu Kesarwani. He's saying he's a student of arts and humanities and want to do MBA. So which college should he target?
So Sudhanshu, whether it's humanities, whether it is commerce, At this point, you have to target the best. So I hope you go for the very best. And if you do not make it, or once you do not make it to the absolute best, then we can decide how we can take it ahead, right? We can then decide. But for now, you aim for the best. There is nothing that stops a humanities or an art student from making it to the very best. In fact, today is a better time if you're a humanities student, because most colleges, I guess all colleges, have a separate diversity portfolio. They want people from humanities, from arts, from commerce, from medical, from architecture, from previously unknown course, unknown in the sense it wasn't very common for them to do an MBA. So please go ahead and try the best. Adhyayan is talking about the weekend program of IIM Lucknow. Yes, that's a very good option. But yeah, I think FMS would just have the edge, FMS evening program.
Okay, great. And I think most of you are getting your answers. And Sudhanshu, this is like a thumbs up for you. Go ahead with arts and humanities background. Definitely you can crack that. Okay, so Tandra wants to know for a startup aspiration, which college is better?
For startup aspiration, again, it depends on what level of an IIM you're getting. If you can make it to Bangalore or Ahmedabad, that's amazing. That's absolutely very good for an MBA aspirant. Generally in Gujarat, the entrepreneurial ecosystem is quite favorable. And in Ahmedabad, there is a lot of business advantage you will receive. Bengaluru at this point is the hottest market for business because maximum businesses are tech dependent, and Bangalore, is the technology capital of India. So if you're aiming for a startup, I would say these two are the best. Having said that, FMS is also a great option. One of the biggest advantages, it's based in Delhi. So that gives you an access to an ecosystem which you might struggle to get in many other places. So I would say best is IIM Bangalore, followed by IIM Ahmedabad, third is FMS Delhi. And another very good thing about all three of them is they have an excellent alumni base, right? So alumni and juniors, your batchmates, that is an ideal scenario for a startup to thrive.
Right, that's a very useful piece of advice again for Tandra, I suppose, and for many others. So, Deveshwar is again back. He's asking about any piece of advice for CAT 2024 aspirants. As like right now, he's doing MBBA. He's a BBA first year student. So, when should he start, and what should he start with currently?
So, Deveshwar, I took lots of these questions in the last webinar which I took. So it'll be great if you can probably watch that again. But I'll still quickly answer your question. I think the best time will be end of 2023 or early 2024. If you start thinking too much from now, you will lose steam, because preparing for 2 years is a way bit too much. It'll be, you will probably lose your focus by the time. Right now, you can focus on reading books, reading novels, newspapers. You can improve your vocabulary, do a bit of mental maths, maybe some online certifications. Just focus on these. Don't do the actual preparation until perhaps 8-9 months before the exam.
Okay, that's good enough. And definitely, guys, you can refer to the YouTube page wherein the webinars are getting posted. And last webinar was also very useful, very informative. All these things about CAT, because it was on CAT versus that versus MAT, and there were interrelated questions that were being asked. So you can definitely refer to that. I'll share you the link in the chat below. Okay, so in the list of IIMs, where can we put FMS? Say right after 3, IIM-A, B, C, or further down.
I think, Ashish, you have hit the absolute right level. It's very difficult for anybody to suddenly say what is the rank of what. But broadly speaking, the general experts in the market and the general industry treats IIM ABC as a top three, and FMS at fourth. If at all there's another IIM which can beat FMS, it is probably Lucknow. But I don't think any of the others would be put above. At the max, it is Lucknow, but definitely none of the others, Ashish.
Right, because there was another question interrelated to this. Is it a better choice for choosing FMS Delhi over any IIMs, top IIMs, or baby IIMs? This was the question being asked on Shiksha platform as well.
Yes, so I would say, generally speaking, an FMS would be better. If you are
Okay.
serious about your career, then definitely FMS. The industry, the market treats FMS on a really high pedestal. I would also add a slight personal point. I don't know whether how relevant this is, but if you're looking for pride and prestige in your broader family clan, then an IIM can probably be better than an FMS, because while industry experts and the recruiters know about FMS, as a great institute, most people, especially outside North India, because FMS is based in Delhi, may not have heard of FMS. They may not know how good FMS is. So if you want a lot of prestige in your distant relations, everybody in your family, distant cousins saying how brilliant you are, then go even for a bottom IIM, because that will be better known. Perhaps an IIM is still a better known thing than an FMS. So that is an important thing. Now, some of you might think I'm talking some trivial stuff, but a lot of people do MBA or choose a college because of pride and prestige rather than your placements 2 years later. So even an IIM Jammu, it may not be very well known, but an IIM is still an IIM. So your distant uncle, distant cousin would still know it better than an FMS. So you can take a call. That's your choice.
Right. And I just want to add on one more thing over here, because students and recent grads spread this myth that IIM brand is bigger and helps in long run. So do you think that like both the B schools give equal opportunities in life, and what you make out of them?
So the top few IIMs, without any shadow of a doubt, yes, they do give. The other IIMs, I would say with time we'll be able to understand. Now, some of the newer IIMs have already created a niche for themselves. Udaipur, for example, Rohtak, for example, Jammu to an extent, Ranchi to an extent, they have already created a niche for themselves. While there are several newer IIMs which may not have reached that level as yet. So the prediction, the general understanding is that over a period of time, all the IIMs, since they have got the IIM tag, they will go on to do extremely well. Now, whether it will be better than an FMS is very difficult to say. But yes, even if you join the bottommost IIM today, I can assure you that 10 years down the line, if the markets remain normal, barring some market apocalypse, climate change kills all of us, AI takes away all our jobs, take away those kind of extreme scenarios, 10 years down the line, even the bottom IIM will still be definitely a very good choice 10 years down the line.
Definitely. That's again a very good suggestion. The students who are looking forward for doing an MBA between IIM and FMS, they can take this point forward. And what are the pros and cons of both IIMs and FMS?
This is like asking, I don't know. I mean, this is the most basic thing, and difficult to answer, because there are pros and pros, lots and lots of pros. Cons will only be there if you have made it to both IIMs and FMS. Then we can probably discuss this. Now, when it comes to pros, obviously these are the best institute. They have the best placements, best career options. So I don't think anything else is needed in life. So I think that is pretty
Right.
much it. Yeah.
Okay, so anonymous attendee is asking about his son. He's completing 11th class, so they are sure that he will do MBA. But of course, before MBA, he must do his BBA. So does these two universities have BBA faculty as well?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question which is asked. So I would also say that there is no such rule that you have to do a BBA before an MBA. Rather, the majority of MBAs have not done a BBA before that in the top colleges. Many have done a BCom or an Eco honors. There are some humanities grads, and of course, the vast majority are engineers. So there is no such rule that you have to do a BBA. Having said that, if you really want to do a BBA and you're talking of these two universities, FMS, both of them do have a BBA. FMS does not have, but Delhi University has a BMS course. So can we type the response? Maybe, ma'am, you can, Kanika, if you can just type it out. Where can we type it somewhere?
Yes,
On the
yes, I
chat
can type
box?
it for you. Like, yeah.
Okay, so
What
if
do
you
you
can
want?
just,
Yeah, me to type. I'll just type it.
okay, you can just tell them about the BMS course, BMS Bachelor's of Management Studies at
Yeah.
Sukhdev. So that is, of course, at DU. That's a very good option. And some of the IIMs, yes, Sukhdev is, of course, the best college. And apart from this, there is also, do I have typing this thing? Like,
Yes, you have the typing rights.
but here it says to Kanika and the other option says to hosts and panelists.
Yeah, you can select there itself to everyone.
Everyone, I'm not getting that option.
Okay. I don't know why you're not getting, but I
Okay,
can
fair
post
enough.
it for you. I
This
can
is the
post it for
thing.
you. Yeah.
Okay, the other thing I wanted you to post for me is the IIMs. They have an IPM program, integrated program in management. Currently, there are 5 IIMs which are going through this integrated program in management. Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, the 3 big ones haven't yet started, but Indore has, Rohtak has, and a few others. In IPM, integrated program in management.
Okay.
Yes,
Right.
IIM Indore is the biggest of the lot.
Okay. Great. So anonymous attendee, I hope you must have got your answer and you can decide upon the career decision for your son right now, here itself in this webinar, because Mr. Aritra is already sharing a lot of information and which will be definitely useful for your son. So Sudhanshu Kesarwani is again back with another question. Which professional course should he do so that he can make his career in finance?
Sudhanshu, are you in graduation right now? If that is the case, I think BCom. So you can do anything and you can move into your MBA and straight away do finance. You can choose that specialization. There's nothing that stops you from that.
Okay. Shrijal wants to share that her CAT score was not good this year. So she can drop 1 year? Or what?
Definitely, Srijal. In the long run, it won't really affect much, but it'll be good if you can occupy yourself doing something. Because 1 year later, if they are asking you, let's say you do well in the entrance and you get shortlisted for the interview, you should have shown something you're doing. So you may not take up a full-time job, but it'll be good if you can be associated as an intern, or maybe you can do some online certification so that you can show this is what I was doing. Maybe you could do some voluntary exercises, for example, join some NGO and maybe work once or twice a week with them. This is also something which is useful. There are lots of online tasks, for example, online content writing, if you are good at writing, or there are lots of these online, stuff. So just keep yourself busy. It should not appear you were doing nothing and only preparing, because that alone is going to take down your weightage ultimately. So keep doing something. You should always be studying or working. Yeah. So that's the.
Okay, great. Tandra is also saying thanks to you. Thanks. Okay. So please say about MBA in business analytics.
So Kuruba, that's a very good option, and it's something which is definitely rising. But today's session is about IIMs versus FMS, so maybe we can have a separate session some other day on various specializations. Currently, I would just suggest that analytics is one of the subjects for many of the courses across the IIMs. There are about 20 odd IIMs, more than 20, and there is one FMS. So across all these colleges, you do have a number of analytics courses, and some of them even have specific electives. Right.
Okay. So anonymous attendee wants to know about the fee structure. We were actually coming to this point. It's very high in IIMs. Is there any scholarship available for financially backward class people? And what's the procedure? He's asking another thing to get prepared for the exams for the same student, like person who has his son
Yeah,
in
I can't see this
India.
question. Okay,
It's
IIM
like,
fee structure is very high. Is there any
yeah.
scholarship towards the end, right? Yes, some of them do have scholarships, so you can probably apply for it, and you can make it. There is also the EWS quota, of course. And the best part about the IIMs is that you can also get a scholarship. Sorry, you can get a loan which will be collateral free. So let's say the fee is about 20 lakhs, which is very high, but your child should be able to earn that much in a couple of years. Gross maybe in 2 years, net probably in 3 to 4 years, depending on how he or she spends, etc. So it's a collateral free loan, so it should not be something to worry. If it's FMS, then it's very cheap. FMS, the biggest advantage, one of the biggest advantage is the fee. So if it's FMS, you don't need to worry about that.
Okay, what's the ROI for the same for both the colleges?
The ROI is a very difficult thing to answer, because again, it depends on how well you do and stuff. ROI is something which marketing people should answer, not an academician. But if you still ask me, I would say that I don't know, for an IIM, it should be. It's very difficult to answer actually, because the fee is around 20 lakhs, and if you make it to the top 5, 6, your starting salary will be somewhere between 12 and 25 annual package. Whereas if it's some of the lower ones, it will be somewhere between 8 and 15. It also depends on economic growth, how things happen in the next couple of years. FMS ROI will always be highly positive, so that you need not worry. Even IIM will in over a period of time.
Okay. And the second question by anonymous attendee was about the procedure to get prepared for these exams.
Procedure is, I guess you need to prepare for these subjects. You could take up some coaching from some institute. There are lots of good institutes in the country, or you could take up some online courses. So either way, I think that is the best. If you want to prepare on your own, that's also possible. You can maybe buy some books for that. but at least for testing, you should join some institute, and ideally offline for testing. Like you might be good at studying on your own, that can be done online, that is okay. But at least for testing, you should visit some center, because then you are under competition. You know how well the others are doing.
Okay, so you are suggesting them for the uh, taking coaching option, right?
At least for the testing part, if not the
Okay,
whole
for the
thing.
testing
But
part.
ideally, maybe the whole thing. You have to choose some institute which is good for you. It can be online as well.
Okay, great. That's good enough. We'll just come to Sudhanshu Kesavani once again. He's saying that he's in second year of the graduation from BHU. Is it the good time to prepare for CAT and how to manage college and CAT both? Also about making profile.
So this is a good time to start, because if you remember, Sudhanshu, one more student asked me, I think was in his first year. I told him it's too early. In your case, it is fine because you have 1 year remaining. I'm assuming yours is a 3-year course, because you have not mentioned what graduation, but I'm assuming it is not engineering. So I'm assuming you'll appear for CAT next year. If it's next year, then it is a good time to start. So please start immediately. As for managing both college and your CAT preparation, because you are starting fairly early, you have a year ahead of you. I think you can easily manage both. Uh, for a couple of months, you have to manage both. You need to get a really good score in second year, because if you don't, it will reflect badly when you are ultimately getting selected. So second year final exams, you need to do as well as possible. Once you are in third year, you can probably take your foot off the pedal a bit. Your college studies can to some extent take a setback, no problem, because you can always make up for it after November. But till November, your main focus has to be on cracking CAT.
Yeah, that's like a fair deal because you have to start as early as possible to achieve something. So all the best, guys, and start your journey from today itself. Okay. Tanya, you have raised your hand, but I would request you to please post your query in the Q&A tab. We are picking it up one by one, and I hope most of the things are already being covered up in this session. So, Tanya, please post it. Okay. So, Pranisa is saying if we have low academics, can we get into IIMs?
So, Pranessa, I'll be very honest with you. If your academics are not very good, again, I don't know what exactly you mean by low academics, but if your scores are not very good, it is true you have already lost some marks. Let's be very honest, because every IIM, they have a certain weightage. There's a certain weightage for the CAT exam, certain for the group discussion, interview, VAT, whatever they do. There is also a bit for the past academic record. And of course, there is a significant amount for work experience, extracurricular, co-curricular, etc. So in that tab on past academic, you will score low, but you can always make up in the others. So you have to be very realistic. You have to know that about 10 to 15% of the total, you've already lost out a good part. The rest of it, you need to do extra. You need to outperform, or you can set your standards a bit low. Nothing wrong in being realistic. Let's assume for a while, you can say that I won't make it to ABC, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta. No problem. You can always try for the others. You can try for Indore, Kozhikode. You can try for the new IIMs, the baby IIMs. So go for it. Be realistic. It is always good to have your feet on the ground.
Right, we have various options apart from the three IIMs. We have baby IIMs that just he shared. So please go ahead with all the IIMs other than ABC if you are low in academics, guys. Okay, Preet Kumar wants to know which college is better for MBA in IT. Any suggestions?
So for IT, the best colleges are the IITs and also NITI. Those are specifically, a lot of the courses are for information technology. But since today's session is about IIMs versus FMS, I'll say some of the IIMs have more options on IT. So you can go for that.
Okay, freshers chances to get into a FMS. Deveshwar Mehra is
Absolutely, Deveshwar. Absolutely, there is nothing that stops you from there. Of course, there will be a greater emphasis on those with work experience, but at the same time, there is a specific area which is meant for people who are freshers. Many colleges want a certain freshers percentage. In fact, at least half the students, at least 30%. That's like the minimum. 30% will be freshers. So definitely you can make it there. If you are a fresher, your acads have to be quite strong. Because if you have work ex, then I could ask you questions from your work, what you're doing, and all that. Now that part is out. So make sure your acads are as strong as solid as possible.
Right. Okay. Ashish is saying that he's again targeting about the same thing regarding the average academics and all. Any suggestions for students targeting top IIMs or FMS who are not from maths background or have some fear of maths? Would quant be a challenge or it can be cracked with some hard work?
Uh, so I need to know, Ashish, what exactly do you mean by fear of maths? If your scores are very low, if you've not even been getting 50 out of 100, then things are going to be tough, with due respect. If you're getting 70, 80, not a problem. The second thing, you need to understand that the quants which is going to be used in CAT exam and the quants which is be in your college will be very different from the maths you've studied so far. It is somewhat different. It is more based on statistics. Um, so that is one thing. Also, within MBA, there are various courses. Finance will require greater amount of knowledge of numbers, right? Marketing, you could get away, but at the same time, data analytics is a very important part. So there again, you will be requiring maths. So you have to choose which specialization you go for, right? At this moment, do not think of this. Give your best shot. Then we will take a call once you have a couple of decent options.
Right. Okay. And anonymous attendee has already answered this. Where do you put up IIM Lucknow in the list of IIMs?
So
So you
within the
can
IIMs, it is the fourth best for sure.
exactly. Okay. And how does ISB compare to FMS? Now there are comparisons being coming up.
With ISB, again, it's to an extent, it is comparing apples with oranges. They aren't exactly the same. I can't really say which one is better. ISB has greater international coverage, that is for sure. And ISB is also for a shorter duration. FMS is 2 years, ISB is 1 year. That is an advantage. In FMS, one big advantage you get is being in Delhi and being part of DU, you are associated with a broader university culture, a broader campus culture. So you interact with many other students from different courses, different cultures. ISB is, to an extent, you can say, you are within a certain closed enclosure, right? That is one key difference. But otherwise, these two are both absolutely wonderful. Once you make it, then we can maybe discuss further.
Rest. Okay. All the best for this. Okay. Satish is saying a daughter after completing BCom honors with good marks were placed in Deloitte. So how much ideal work experience is advisable before getting into IIM?
I would say between 2 to 3 years, maximum 4 years. Anything more than four, then it might sound very ageist, but a lot of IIMs might consider you a bit too old for that. That is one thing. Also, you might be considered more for the executive program after 4 years. So I would say not more than a max 4 years. Anything less than 2 years, especially if it's less than 1 year, is a bit too less. Some people say I have 6 months work experience. Now that doesn't count. So I would say at least 2 years, maximum four.
Okay. So Dhanshu Kesravani is saying BA honors. So his question earlier was like
He's
he's
not too
in
good in
second year.
maths.
Yeah, yeah. Second year of graduation from BHU. So he's doing BA honors.
I was asking about the 4 year course, yeah, 3 year course. Yes, got it. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Any advice for profile building for FMS Delhi?
Right, this is a very good question, Deveshwar. I would say that one of the things you can do is you can maybe start doing some online certifications. There are lots of them on LinkedIn. So go ahead and do some of these certifications. You could also perhaps go to the website of some of the stock exchanges, like the NSE has some of these courses. Educard.com is a good place. MOOCs, you can do these courses. You can also do a bit of volunteering, because nowadays there's a lot of emphasis on social aspect, that an MBA is not just there to earn money, but they should give something back to the society. So maybe you could join up with an NGO and do some social activities, be part of something. I think that will really help you.
Okay, you can just take over this information, guys. Drop year after intermediate to get IIT is red flag for interview. Venkata has posted this below.
Sorry.
He's saying drop year after intermediate to get IIT is red flag for interview. Venkata?
I think, yeah, I think I had answered this earlier. It is a red flag if you're doing nothing, but you need to do something during this period. So I would say at least get involved, at least get engaged with some maybe volunteering experience. Maybe you could get into some online certifications. So do something. You have to be busy doing something at least. That's what I'm saying. Otherwise, it's a red flag.
Okay, great. Anonymous attendee is saying we are from Kanpur, UP. Please do suggest a coaching center to join online.
So again, I don't think we should be, I'm not sure whether we should do that in this session.
Definitely. Guys, you can refer to maybe Google search engine. It's a good option for you to
Hmm.
check that coaching centers there itself. What about the placements in old IIMs, baby IIMs, and new IIMs? How are the
Mhm.
placement? And you compare it with FMS as well.
So again, I think I had given a broad range earlier. For the older IIMs, the top three, you can take a basic range between say 12 to 25 or 15 to 25 lakh per annum. That can be the average at the top three, four IIMs. And then the lowest would be around 8 lakhs if I look at the towards the bottom of this list, right? So that would be the thing. And FMS compares favorably with the older IIM. So something like between 13, 14 to 20 odd. That is the thing. Giving an exact figure is slightly difficult because there are lots of complications when a package is created. You know what all is included in a package. Also, if you have a couple of foreign placements, that skews the overall. Because obviously, if you are placed in London or Dubai or US, then your package naturally goes up. In that country, it may not be very good salary, but it appears very good to an Indian. So that is not always a good measure. But yes, broadly, I've given you the range. For a top IIM, it'll be somewhere between say 12 to 25.
Okay, and can you mention some of the companies visiting these campuses?
Companies would be, let's say, the big four in the audit sector. The big four: Deloitte, KPMG, EY, and PwC. These four, some of the top consulting firms. They are the dreams of MBAs. Traditionally, they were the dreams, like McKinsey, Bain, BCG. Then you have any sector you name it, they are there. Nowadays, there's a lot of recruitment from some of the new age edtech companies or some of the new age unicorns, companies like Zomato or Oyo or Byju's and Airbnb, Facebook, Meta, that is. Some of these companies have also joined in and recruited people. They are, in fact, among the bigger recruiters nowadays.
Right. You have named a very big, like a good number of big companies here
Right.
itself.
Plus, also banks.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the leading banks in the country, then all the leading FMCG brands like ITC or Unilever, these are always there. Coca-Cola. Then you have these banks, any of the banks in the country.
Right. So your recordings of the session, you can definitely check this webinar session on YouTube. I have also shared the previous webinar link here in the chat, which you can just refer to. And this webinar YouTube link will also be shared to you on mail. So don't worry. I will share my email ID also at the end of this session, and you can ask me for this recording. I will send you the YouTube link. You can refer to that. Okay, Mrs. Svetlana Gupta wanted to know what are the chances that IIM Lucknow will offer the IP-MAT program in the future.
Very good question, Mrs. Gupta. I really think they will. Now, if I go back to a little bit of history on the IP-MAT, when it was started by Indore, it was seen, not in a very good light, because a lot of the IIMs, the older IIMs, felt that this was not the way to enroll a student, because CAT is such a tough exam. How can you take a student after 12th? So initial couple of years, IIM Indore had to really fight it out. But finally, people did start accepting. And then in 2019, you had the second IIM which joined this thing. That was Rohtak. And now you also have IIM Jammu, Ranchi, and Patna. So we now have 5 IIMs. The biggest IIMs haven't yet joined the queue, but there is a hope, there is a realistic hope that they will also join this list very soon. Right. So I really can't give a figure, but the rumors are that in the next 2 to 3 years, all the IIMs, including the ABC, will start this. So then Lucknow definitely, and maybe there will be one exam. Right now there are too many exams. That is a bit of a problem. Hopefully in the future there will be a single exam, like you have CAT similarly.
Right. And Deveshwar Mehra wants to know, sir, it is something about 85% in both 10th and 12th CBSE board.
Deveshwar, right? You said, sir, is it about something? Yes, 85 is a decent score in both of them.
So Deveshwar, I hope you got your answer. Tandra is asking one more thing once again. If a FMS and IIM student trying for the same post, who will get a better weightage outside the market?
Again, it depends on how well is your interview. That is, of course, a point. But generally speaking, IIM-ABC will have a higher brand, but FMS will have higher than all the other IIMs. And I think we discussed that earlier. At the max, IIM Lucknow might be at the same level, but definitely the newer and baby IIMs will be significantly pushed at a lower part. Unless the person who's taking an interview is from one of the lower IIMs and there is some other reason, some personal reason. But generally speaking, an FMS grad will do better than the other IIMs, but ABC will be higher.
Okay. Anonymous attendees asking about having 10 CGPA in 10th, 94.5 percentage in 12th, and 8 CGPA in computer science engineering. He has 2 years of work experience in an MNC. What CAT percentile he needed for IIM Calcutta?
So you have you have excellent credentials. Definitely, you should be able to make it to the top institutes. You should try for minimum 98 percentile for IIM Calcutta.
Right. And Pranis Sahu is again asking, even we can go for professional courses like CS, ICWA for profile building.
So CS is a very big course. CS and ICWA, you don't do it for profile building. That is like saying that in order to become a very good footballer, you must practice to run 100 meters in the Olympics. Now, that is a separate field altogether. Of course, a football player needs to be quick. Of course, needs to practice sprinting. But if you become way too good at sprinting, then why will you play football? Similarly, CNIC is the what was the other one? CS and CWA. You don't do those to supplement your or complement your MBA profile. That is a complete different course altogether. If you make it to CA, then no need to bother about an MBA. I mean, you can still do an MBA after that, but generally a CA is a CA. There is no requirement for an MBA per se.
Definitely.
You don't have to go through such a hi-fi course for profile building. For profile building, the kind of courses I was talking about is a 3-4 day online workshop kind of a thing.
That's itself a big profile.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Deveshwar is asking, is FMS a profile-based college?
Yeah, there is a part of it which is profile based, but it is not like SP Gen where you have separate interviews in the beginning for profile based and then separate ones for the based on your scores. It's not like that. It is profile is a part of your single interview.
Right. And Sudhanshu Singh is like his father income is 1.5 lakh per year. So is he able to get scholarship from IIMs?
You might. This is not something which is very easy to say, but you might. But as I said, you can get a loan, no questions asked, collateral-free loan. You can always pay back this loan once you've started working over a period of couple of years.
Right. And what's the difficulty level to get into IIMs or FMS?
It's very difficult. In fact, there are studies that prove that getting into an IIM is tougher than getting into a Harvard Business School. That is because of the population of a country. If you see the number of people who are vying for those seats, it is actually extremely skewed. In fact, don't just go by the CAT numbers. If you also go through the other exams like a CMAT or a MAT, you will see a lot of people who did not apply for CAT because they felt they would not be able to crack it. So actual ratio of number of selections versus number of people who thought of appearing for the paper is extremely skewed. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's very tough to make it to an IIM.
Okay. And how much percentile should they target for FMS Delhi within academics and SC category?
In the early 90s, I would say 92, 93.
Yeah, because less than 90 is nowhere. And what about like anonymous attendees saying he's not written anything about his son? Which course to choose for our son after his 12th, who wishes to do MBA?
Anything, whatever he likes. I mean, this can't be answered because again, I don't even know which course that person is. So you have to first tell me which course is he in, how is he doing this thing.
Exactly. You have not written a complete question actually. What's his interest? Because it all depends upon person's interest as well, that
Yes.
which course you want to go for and like which is in more demand. That also depends later at a later stage. Because MBA, I think you said in the last session that HR is also booming, right? So we have various options available. We have different specialization that a person can opt for. Okay. So guys, part-time experience or internship can be counted in experience?
Absolutely. You'll not be given the same category as somebody who's got a full-time internship, full-time job, but it is better than doing nothing. So yes, I would say it is counted to an extent.
Okay, that's fair enough. Guys, I'm just launching the poll in between this session itself. I hope this session is quite useful to all of you. If it is informative session, is it like a session useful or helpful to you? Just give the rating accordingly, where 10 is the session being most likely answered or most likely on a scale of 1 to 10. So all of you, Sudhanshu, Tanya, Pranisa, everyone, Deveshwar, please give your ratings. Okay, till the time they are just giving the poll, I would take over another question, which is saying that are these counselors from these two universities there who can provide guidelines? Are
FMS
there
and
any
IIMs
counselors?
would see FMS and IIMs are not they are the most elite institute. So it is not that you can call up somebody and ask them how to do the admissions. They will send you a sheet. It's not how it works. The higher the college is, the more attitude, the more arrogance the college typically has. So I don't think this is how it will work. But yeah, we can help you. All we can say is appear for the CAT exam whenever your child is eligible, and give your best. Need to get a minimum percentile. Again, we can guide you on that. And of course, you can always join some formal coaching. They will guide you everything from scratch.
Okay. And anonymous attendee wants to know what are the opportunities available for a student studying in IIMs.
Kanika, I have a question for you. Have you observed today, for some reason, there are lots of anonymous attendees?
I know, and it's very odd saying anonymous
Yes.
attendee. You're like you guys are not renaming yourself, and do you think it's good that I am just like calling you by anonymous attendee? That's not a good name. So just rename
Yes.
yourself so that
Yes.
we can just take it over. And Deveshwar is also saying thanks to you. It is very
Thank you.
helpful.
Yes. Thank you. So it's good. Audience like you guys, that's really good
You
fun.
guys are really like lovely audience. So please rename yourself so that we can
Yes.
also call you by your name.
Such wonderful names you have, Ashish, Rejal, Pranisa. We want to, take
Yeah,
these names.
we want to definitely take over your names here. Srijal Dubey is saying for EWS, how much score is required for FMS?
Right. So again, your percentile has to be minimum in the early 90s, right? That is the minimum you can take.
That you have already told in the previous query. Okay, Ashish Jain is saying people might be asking second and third question as anonymous.
No, you can ask more questions, no problem.
Yeah, you can have 4 times also.
Yeah, no problem.
We will love
Yes.
be happy to assist you here.
Yes.
Ashish Jain has also written about score is in 90s. Yeah, Ashish Jain, you can definitely go for it as he said. And opportunities he has already covered. I have 75 in 10, 75 in 12, and 73 in BCom. Pranisa is saying that if I get good scores in CAT or any one entrance exam, will I be able to get into baby IIMs or FMS?
Yeah, I think you are 10th and 12th scores aren't very good, but they aren't a disaster either. So it's not that you are losing out completely on that segment. So I think I said this before. So you might get slightly lower than somebody who gets a 95 or 99 percentage in 10th and 12th, but it's still not a disaster. So you can make up in the other courses. And I think you're being very realistic, asking about baby IIMs and new IIMs. So yeah, I think you definitely have a chance. If you do well in CAT, that's the biggest thing. Go ahead and give your best in CAT exam.
All the best from my side as well. Okay. So what is the minimum percentage required if Devansh is targeting for FMS in 12th class?
So I think I've already answered this. I mean, your weightage might come down, but you can make up in the other courses.
Right. Okay. So, okay, anonymous attendee saying he has clicked on the wrong button. That's why it's anonymous. But I think you can rename it. You can just check that it's there in everyone's profile page here. For EWS, how much percentile required for IIM-A, B, C? So the Anshu Kesarwani
So
is
again, the early 90s, yes.
Yeah, early 90s, you said. Okay. Is there only CAT exam to get an admission for these colleges?
So I think that's a very good thing. Back in the day, for example, when we guys appeared for papers, there were lots of papers. And that's the case with IP-MAT students today. They have to appear for 10, 12 different exams. And that is where the government is actually moving towards. If you see, I don't know if you're aware, this year the CUET exam was introduced for the class 12 students. So the government is moving towards a process where you have a single exam to take care of everything. Of course, there will be a separate domain segment, that is fine. But the basic aptitude should be a common paper. So I think it's a very good thing. There is also a problem when you have single exam is that you don't get a second chance. That I buy. So one exam, that's it. Your year is over if you don't get it right. So that is a challenge, but at the same time, it is more convenient than filling up 10 to 12 different forms, paying fees multiple times, and giving 10 to 12 different papers. So I think
Right.
it's a good thing having one exam.
Okay. And does FMS offers undergraduate programs as well? Mrs. Svetlana.
Yeah. So FMS does not, but FMS is part of DU. So DU does. At DU, you have multiple colleges which are giving. So there are three courses. There is the BMS, Bachelor's of Management Studies. There is the BBE, Bachelor of Business Economics, and there is the BFIA, Bachelor's of Finance and Investment Analysis. So you've got three courses which are related to management at the UG level. Plus, you obviously have the BCom honors, BCom program. So you can go for those courses. It's the same university, similar profile, except that it is not FMS, but it's other colleges within DU.
Yeah, exactly. And all of them are equally valuable because it comes
Equally, huh?
under DU, and you have very well given the information about the three courses which comes
Right.
under management.
Especially if you can make it to Sukhdev.
Right.
Sukhdev is at UG level, Sukhdev is as good as an IIM. In fact,
Okay.
many people nowadays are choosing a Sukhdev over an SRCC. That is how highly valued Sukhdev has been. So definitely that's a great option.
Okay. And any preferences given to IITians for admission into these top institutes?
So this is a slightly controversial question because many people believe that there is too much preference given to them. Now, how I see it is that traditionally, a lot of people who make it to the IITs, they are some of the smartest people in the country. So again, no offense to the others, but it's just that many of the smartest people, the way we grow up, they do land up in an IIT. So many IITians do make up. If you go through a list of all the IIMs and the batch profile, you'll see a lot of IITians. I don't think it is because of any preference. I think because they are naturally doing well, especially in quants. In English, they often struggle, but in quants, they do very well. I mean, I know of some institutes which are located right next to IIT Delhi, which is in Hoskas, South Delhi. And there, all the institutes, they focus only on English because you assume they will do well in quants. Having
Right.
said that, I would also say in the last couple of years, there has been a slight sea change because, say, about 7, 8 years back, the government realized that it is all engineers from IITs who are making to IIMs. That is not a good balance. If I look at, let's say, in the US, some of the top entrepreneurs are humanities grads, like Mark Zuckerberg, for example. So that is why we were looking at getting a same pool of talent. So now there is a focus towards people from outside the IITs, outside the engineering or commerce courses.
Right. And you have given a very good example to explain this better.
Mm.
Okay. Sir, short intro about yourself. Sudhanshu is already given the introduction. When this video will be posted, you can refer to that. Okay. Satish Jha is saying his daughter had 96.5 percentage in 10th, 89.5 in 12th, and 89% in BCom honors. She has 1 year full experience before she attended CAT this year. If her scores are not that great for top IIMs, then can she appear next year without getting into job once again?
So, one question, Mr. Jha, is has your daughter left her job? If she hasn't quit her job, I would suggest continue at least till April, May. What prevents you from working till April, May? So, because the more experience you have, it will always be better. And she has to somehow manage academics with her job because 1 year work experience does not have that weight as 2 years does. There's no difference between having 10 years or 11 years work ex, but 1 and 2 is a big difference. So I would say she should continue. In case she has actually quit her job, then over the next 1 year, while I think I've said this before, she can continue to prepare for CAT, but she should do something. She should do some online certification, some volunteering, some internship, some part-time job, something she has to do. But I hope she hasn't quit her job as yet. She has very good scores and she's a right candidate for the FMS, but she can't drop completely.
So I think, Mr. Satish, you got your answer, and prepare your daughter for the same if she has quitted the job. So she can do definitely something else if she want to continue with the FMS or IIMs. Uh, okay, so Tanya is saying I've got 90% in 10th and 88 in 12th, and she's in college. What advice would you give for the top IIMs? Any
So,
advice?
so I think I just answered that. Either you do very well in CAT in the third year, or you take up a job, work for a couple of years, and then you appear for CAT.
Yeah. Okay, she has quit her job. And he
Okay.
got your point of
Yeah,
your point
fair
of
enough. Fair enough.
viewpoint. So he must be taking care of that. Okay, Mrs. Svetlana Gupta is saying how much time is required approximately to get ready for CAT exam. He's already answered that if you start from today itself and prepare for the next CAT, it will be good enough. Okay, so can you suggest some online certifications that can be done and will add value for CAT along with CAT preparations?
So again, in this platform, I don't think I should be mentioning anything in particular. That will be like endorsing. We are just academicians here. We are not endorsing any companies. But all I can say is go online, go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very good resource. And on LinkedIn, you'll find lots of courses. There's also educard.com. There are lots of free softwares like MOOCs is out there. You can go through some of these courses.
Exactly.
Educard.com is useful. LinkedIn is a very good source. So you can get a lot of information.
Okay. And what are the questions answered in FMS final selection interview? Now, this is a different question that has come up. And how is FMS interview differ from IIM interview? That also I want to clarify.
Right. So I think, Kanika, this is a very big question to answer. For this, we might need a full-fledged session altogether. And this, it may not be the right time now, maybe end of December or early Jan. Once the CAT results are out or about to be out, I think then it will be a good time. Otherwise, there is no major difference between FMS and IIMs. There's a difference between the different IIMs because some IIMs focus on something, another focuses on something else. So there is a difference among the IIMs, but not per se. I mean, FMS is one college. There are many IIMs as well. So there are differences in all of them. All I can tell you right now is, Deveshwar, you have to work on personality. That is one. You have to work on clarity because it should not appear that you are walking in for an MBA and you don't know what MBA is all about. And thirdly, your content, your general knowledge has to be very good. Start reading the newspapers from today itself. You know, tomorrow's newspapers will be full of election coverage, for example. We had a couple of election results out today. There is a lot of international news like the G20 summit we are hosting next year. There is a lot of news on climate change. You know, there's a football World Cup on. So build your general knowledge, build your content before your final interviews.
Right. Mohan, opportunities for students studying in IMC has already answered that. And total fee for full course of BBA, guys, I will also request you to please check on Shiksha website for the same, because it will have an appropriate and a correct number to quote for over here itself. And I've shared the link here in the chat itself. So please refer to that page link. Okay, which newspaper will you suggest?
So again, if your daughter is appearing for paper this year or maybe next year, currently I would say go for a general newspaper. The Hindu is a very good paper. You can also go for Indian Express or Times of India or Hindustan Times. Any of these four are ideal. It also depends on how much reading habit your daughter already has. In case she does not have a reading habit, you can start with Times of India or Hindustan Times. They're easier papers to begin, and read the business segment. You don't have to read a lot of people tell me, should we read Economic Times? Should we read Business Standard? I would say don't start with a business specific paper. Start with a general paper, but read the business section of that. That will be good enough because business alone is not what you need. You need a bit of knowledge of politics on international stuff. You need awards in India, cinema, fashion, sports. Everything is needed. Laws, all of it is needed. So not just business.
Okay, we have finished almost all the queries, whatever they being posted. I would like you to take over one more, like last question. Is life at FMS more chilled out than life at top IIMs? If yes, then how?
This is, you are asking me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So not really, not really. A life in IIM is not there to chill out. I mean, an IIM is there to prepare you for the worst. You know, that is the general feeling about these top colleges. They will make you work very hard. IIM Calcutta is slightly on the lighter side in terms of burden, but by lighter, I mean maybe 14, 15 hours of study. The others are probably even more because the number of group assignments, the number of mock contests, extracurriculars, plus acads, and there is no concept of teaching at the IIMs. It's not that somebody will teach you from the scratch. The professors will assume that you already know a lot of things, right? And class participation has a high weightage as well. So it is not about chilling out, but at the same time, you have to make the best of the opportunities available. Now, FMS has one big advantage, it's in Delhi. So there are lots of chilling out spots nearby, a lot of nice restaurants, cafes, etc. If that is what you're looking for, then it's a great location, definitely.
Okay, that's a good piece of information again about IIM Calcutta that you shared. And thank you very much, Kanika ma'am. I'm very grateful to sir for answering the question. Thanks a lot, Svetlana. Like we are happy that we are helping you out in any which ways. So anonymous attendee has posted one last question, and then I would request you to please share any tip for all of the attendees who are here with us. Our daughter has scored 10 out of 10 in SSC, 98.1% in 10+2, presently pursuing IIT BHU Chemical. So, like,
What
anonymous.
is the question?
What is your question? Yeah, that's what I was coming to. Can you just quickly write over because we are left only with 2 minutes?
The profile is very good, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a very high possibility. Your daughter fits into the exact mold. Everything is
For IIM, they are asking
for the IIMs, the acads are very much in order. But at the same time, you have to score well in CAT. A lot of traditionally good students often do not do well in CAT because CAT is a different beast altogether. Big best example is, for example, in school maths, you have to answer step by step. Here, on the other hand, you need to straight away go to the answer, right? So that is one big difference you need to figure out. But otherwise, best of luck to your daughter.
Yeah, best of luck from my side as well. I have already shared the YouTube link for that previous video, and this video will be live very soon, guys. And I'm sharing my email ID once again here if you want to approach me for any YouTube link for any help regarding the sessions, because we are having trending webinars on shiksha.com. You can definitely check that out. And sir, any last minute tip, because it was like a pleasure to have you with us in this informative session. And all the information that you shared will be of great advantage to our aspirants, definitely. So I would just like you to give any last minute tip and we can close.
So last minute tip, I would just say best of luck and please build your content as much as possible. Keep preparing and practicing and be calm. That is the most significant thing. All those who have already appeared for CAT this year, now is the time to build your general knowledge. Work hard on your general knowledge, on your clarity, read newspapers as much as possible. All those who are looking for future, then I would say start immediately for the main courses so that next year you have your exam.
Right. Thanks a lot
Yeah.
for such a nice tip that you have given to the student. And thank you so much for coming over once again. And all the very best to the guys who are here with us or who have attended this session. We hope to see you all in the next session, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.